I mean, if you don't get it what it wants, it's never going to have the right type of peptides. Now, there's, it doesn't look like this is ever going to get going, so I'm going to get going with this lecture. Fallen into an unhappy civilization. The civilization is not very positive. How many of you listen to the news? A few of you. What goes on in the news? Nothing but negativity. Is there anything positive in the news? No, it's nothing but a way to affect the brain's negative reward system. Now, the brain has two systems. It has a pleasure system and an anti-reward system. The anti-reward system is the stress system. How many of you feel anxiety and stress as being members of this culture? Is there any reason why you should be feeling that? Absolutely not. Your brains want to feel good. They've done thousands of studies on the rat model. They've done studies on primate models. They know that the brain wants pleasure. Now, if we were living in a perfect society, in this lecture, what we would be doing is we'd be kind of, the lights would be dark, you'd all have some sort of psychotropic agent, you'd be nude, you'd be with a partner that you really enjoyed, and you'd be working on strategies for heightening your brain's pleasure centers. We don't realize, and I'm going to hammer this point home many times, that all the endogenous pleasure hormones are in your brain. They just need to be activated. Now, according to certain anthropologists, and also primatologists, indigenous people and also other primates, they spend hours touching each other. Touching each other. How many of you are touched at least 2 hours a day? Guess what, friends? You got pleasure receptors in your body. Whenever you touch yourself, if you touch your arm, for example, you're inducing a certain receptor that's going up your spinal cord, into your brainstem, into your thalamus, into your mesolimbic area, into your frontal cortex, that's causing you to feel good. So when you don't do that, your body's not feeling good. So it's essential for you to allow yourself that ability to have that type of consciousness. Now, getting back to the focus of the lecture, how can women really empower their sexuality? Now, what I've been hammering about or focusing is on what you think. How many of you really feel that what goes on in your rationalization processes really has any reality to your body? Does anyone think it does? How many think it's just nothing but societal BS? Awesome. Now, the way for liberation, whether you're an existentialist, whether you're a Dadaist, whether you're a romantic, whether you're a renegade, whether you're whatever, is to throw off the thought mind. Every shaman in any tradition will tell you, I'll take my ayahuasca so I don't have to be burdened by this kind of like harness that's on our crown chakra. You don't need it. I mean, the crown chakra, for those of you that don't understand that, there's 7 chakras. The crown chakra is the way we feed into the cosmos. Our lower chakras, where we feed into the earth. We can be, let's say, heightened by other forces that's not in ourselves, like the earth has a lot of force. If you go out to the beach or someplace in the mountains or Sedona or even here, and you really do something like Qigong. How many do that type of exercise in the morning? Good, excellent. So as you all know, with Qigong, you want to put your belly button to the back of your spine and really loosen up the energy meridians in the back of your spine and get all that sexual energy, if you're not having sex on a regular basis, kind of flowing down your legs. You don't want it to stagnate. You want it to flow down your legs to where you feel it in the balls of your feet. And then you feel the earth's energy kind of coming back and sort of empowering you. So it's important to do that. It's important to get that lower root chakra energy flowing. It's so important to do. You will feel different if you do it. I mean, if you can do this on a regular basis, you're going to feel good. Now, what's also vital is what to do with getting that energy more empowered. Now, many of you are approaching middle age, which means hormones are going to change, that there's going to be a lot of hormonal changes in your body. And, you know, there's been a lot of press on estrogen is bad, estrogen is bad. Well, I probably have gone through about 8 medical seminars on the subject, and I've read almost everything in the literature on it. Low doses of estrogen is good. If you want to stay sexually vital, you should take some type of estrogen cream, a very low dosing of progesterone, and a 2% testosterone T-gel. And that will make your bodies available to feeling energy. Those people in society that, I think in those studies on women's heart disease and other problems, it's only something like 0.02%. And it's problematic to sacrifice the vitality of your bodies. How many of you know how hormones actually work? Does anyone know what they actually do? Okay, let me just give you an understanding, because this is mainly a women's lecture, so men, be patient, because it's something for women to really understand. I want women to know what hormones do, why they do what they do, and what good they can do, because I want to keep these women vital and healthy and with a good life force. A hormone, especially female hormones, they are kind of like a substance. They're not a peptide that binds to a nuclear receptor in a cell. Cells don't do much unless you tell them what to do. Cells just, you know, basically just stand there and do nothing until you send them a signal. Now, when you send them a signal, what they do is they cause genes to be turned on, transcriptional factors to be initiated, and when that occurs, you get a lot of other protein products. In order to get what your body needs, it has to have that estrogen signal. So there's 3 different types of estrogen. So it's important that that signal is activated. Now, the media, the only thing that you should learn about the media, which I'm sure most of you know, is not to listen to the media, because the media is so skewed, so let's say biased to a certain viewpoint, that it's just not something that is of interest. I mean, this is not something they're really interested. If you go to an international endocrinology conference, all these world endocrinologists say low dosing of hormones for women is superb, but not. No, it doesn't. Herbs do not work. Most herbs do not work. You have to have something that binds to the receptor, the nuclear receptor in a cell. If it doesn't bind to that cell, then it doesn't really work. You have to have.
I like black cocoa. She has worked for me.
Hey, if it works for you, awesome. But for most cases, you got to have something that binds to it. So that's something that's really important for women to realize, that they need to find doctors that understand their hormones and will give them certain creams that are low dosing, that won't cause breast cancer, that won't cause any sort of cardiovascular morbidities, that can at least get them on the page. Now, in the practice that she and I are involved in, we are interested in advising women on doing a 2% estrogen cream, a 2% T-gel, which is a male hormone that just gives them a little bit of more sexual arousal. Because women need everything they can get because they're living in a society that really blocks them from getting that type of consciousness. So if your bodies are available to taking testosterone, 2%, taking an estrogen cream and progesterone and thyroid if you need it, your body will then be available to start to activate this type of energy. Now, I mentioned the importance of exercise. Most Americans do not exercise. We don't have time to exercise. It's not your fault. We live in a culture that has created an artificial phenotype. Does everyone understand what a word phenotype means? We've modeled our brain and remodeled it in such a way where it's not acting in a natural way. It's problematic to what we are. So it's important that we keep ourselves very healthy and very vital. I mean, this is something that, I know you've heard it on TV, you've seen it on the reality shows,